God, I can't stand you people.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Grand Theft Auto 5. We're back here. This is Michael's house, and we're gonna get a little thing here talking about how you can have a house, you can change your clothes and everything. The game's gotta show you stuff. Luckily, the game doesn't slow down nearly as much as previous GTA games to tell you stuff like this. Keeps it pretty quick, and as I've said in the last one, I think this game is pretty good at like doling out the information needed to play a GTA game in a way that doesn't, it's not annoying to play through the beginning of the game because, it doesn't take like 3 hours to be able to do anything. And it's all pretty out of the way. There's no like mandatory tutorial things where you gotta shoot cans or whatever. It's just, plunges you into things and it keeps things moving, and the text is in the corner and pretty out of the way. It's a minor thing that I think this game does well. Trying to stay positive, because I'm sure there's going to be more scrutiny of this game by me as we go on. I just kind of feel it in my bones. Not that I don't like it. I mean, I still play it a lot after all these years and all these hours of playing it, so whatever. Anyway, yeah, we get this nice little glimpse at Michael's life after we got our glimpse at Franklin's life, and I'm gonna talk over this part, so what's his face? This is Phil Collins, right? Yeah, this is Phil Collins. I almost said Peter Gabriel. I wish that you could have like that filter, like sunglasses filter when you're in first person. Maybe you can. I never play in first person in this game. Anyway, I'll let this cutscene go, and then we'll party.
I'm serious about that.
What?
You're here, whatever. Sit. You're not gonna rob me again.
Man, I never robbed you. That was just a repossession.
Okay. You call it whatever you want to call it. I really don't care. What can I do for you?
Shit, I just came by to see if there's something I can help you with. I see you doing well for yourself.
Look, I'm retired.
Ain't you a bit young for the pipe, slippers, and staring at a fucking sunset?
I've been in this game for a lot of years, and I got out alive. That makes me the right age. You look like a good kid. But if you want my advice, you give this shit up. You work hard, screw over everybody that you love. Hurt, rob, kill indiscriminately, and maybe, just maybe if you're lucky, you become a 3-bit gangster. It's bullshit. Go to college. Then you're gonna rip people off and get paid for it. Called capitalism.
So what I saw the other day was like when a corpse briefly reanimates itself and terrorizes everyone, right?
What you saw the other day was a guy dealing with pests.
I guess I never saw myself as just a fucking pest.
Well, and today's lesson's all about humility. Tomorrow we'll try a training montage.
A training what?
Nothing. I was just lost in an 80s movie fantasy.
Yeah, I can see you spend a lot of time there.
Yeah, as much as I can.
So that's why you here in Vinewood then, right?
Maybe I'm here because I'm just an idiot who thinks that imported palm trees are a good substitute for not really knowing what the fuck you're doing on this earth.
Jesus, man. You a good time, you know that?
I tell you what. Least I can do is buy you that beer. There's a little bar I like. It's not too far from here. Let's go.
All right, man. I'm following you.
Let's take Amanda's car. Hey, Jim. I'm going for a drink.
Dad, shit! I'm in our boat going down the Western Highway. It's been stolen.
What? The yacht's been stolen?
I was trying to sell it. I know you didn't want it sold, but I need money, and they don't want to buy it. They just want to take it. I'm hiding in the head.
You're insane! All right, I'm coming. For my boat! Alrighty then. Change of plans. My darling boy is in trouble.
I'll do what I can to help with that, man.
All right, so yeah, Jimmy has shit the bed. He's made a big doo-doo, or not doo-doo, a big boo-boo. And yeah, they stole the boat, and we gotta save him. And I remember the first time that I played through this game, I was really surprised when this mission came up, and it was one of the first indications to me, other than the fact that, you know, the game opens with a bank robbery and everything, that you, like, get to play through. This was when I sort of noticed, like, that this was going to be a little bit different than other GTA games, in terms of how the missions feel and everything, because I remembered this part where, spoilers, Jimmy has to, like, fall off of the mast of the boat into the car. That was in a bunch of the trailers for this game for the, like, 2 full years, probably even more than that they were promoting this game before it came out. And I was like, whoa, that looks like a cool part of the game. That's probably, like, toward the end, and you probably don't... It looks like a part where you do something, and you probably don't even get to play that part, but... yeah, no, he falls under there, and everything. I was also really surprised, when I was playing through this game more recently as sort of practice, I guess, or not really, just to refamiliarize myself with at least the beginning of the game, before this LP, I was surprised. I decided to record it in the video editor, and usually anything that has, like, these scripted, like, movements and everything, like you can, the video editor's kind of strict. Like, if your character, like, drinks or whatever, you can't do that because you have to, like, you're, like, watching a cutscene of them drinking. Even if it doesn't zoom in, like when you're in multiplayer, you can't do it, like, it ends. And then there's a huge chunk of the map around Fort Zancudo that you can't make any changes in the video editor, because I guess there's stuff there for a mission or something that they don't want you to see, so they don't want you to be able to move the camera around. I don't know what it could possibly be, because it's for, like, the whole, like, perimeter around Zancudo, so it's like, and the camera extends are only so large, so I don't know, it must be a pretty big fucking thing yeah, here's the part. And when it cuts to that, that's if you press B on the controller and switch to the cinematic camera, you can get the cutscene perspective. It would be fucked up to try to do this all while in the cinematic perspective the whole time, because it'd be kind of finicky trying to figure out the fucking the movement. You gotta hit the people after they fall off. I mean, it's too funny not to. There's something inherently funny to me in like movies or video games of a person, like, falling out of a big thing and just getting owned by a car. It's not funny when it happens in real life. That I don't like it when I see it all the time, very frequently, when I see people flying off the back of trucks or boats and get hit by cars. I don't like it, but I do like it in movies and stuff.
Come on, stay with me. Stay with me. Ah! My fucking boat!
Hey, it's just a thing. At least you still got a son.
Hey, there's a chop shop back there, dog. If the driver's there, we can get the ride fit.
Yeah, I like how the car is perfectly, like, usable, but it's smoky. It's so that we have a lot of time for them to have this conversation, and so you can go to LA or LS Customs, which I always just call the pay and spray because that's what it is to me.
It's all your fucking fault, or it's not, but it's partly your fault. I mean, I just want to impress you.
By selling my boat to some gangbangers?
I know it sounds dumb when you put it like that, but all you do is daydream or get angry.
Look, I love you, Jimmy, but you're an asshole. And right now, with my boat disappearing over the horizon, that's all I can see. Franklin, would you do me a favor and give this kid a ride home after they fix this thing? I want to headbutt the road in peace.
Oh, great! Leave me with the home invader.
I'll get it done, dog.
I feel like that line where he says, like, I love you, Jimmy, but you're an asshole. It should have been, like, I love you, Jimmy, but you're a fucking moron or something.
Go left.
Just a minor note to Dan Hauser. And what's his face? I noticed just when I was recording the first part of this that I forget his name. I have to look it up. But there's someone in here who wrote the script for this game that surprised me.
Yeah, I come down to the marina, sit on the dock, pour myself a drink, and look at her. Jacqueline. It'd clear my head, let me dream.
Jacqueline, huh? Well, maybe you need to do some other shit to fill your time. Dream other dreams, man.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Hey, this the place up here. I know this dude, man. His name Hal. He gonna look after you.
All right, take what's in my pocket, a couple $1,000. That'll cover it, right?
Yeah, it should be cool.
So you sure you're good?
Yeah, I got this.
All right.
Ooh, I'm gonna come up front.
Get out and walk around.
It's okay, I can just climb over.
Look, man, I'm gonna get the ride fixed, man, and drop it back off at your house along with this dude. It's all good, though, man. You go and get your head right, all right?
All right, listen, thanks for today. Appreciate it. You stop back out to the house, we'll talk.
You see?
Show, man. Hey, sorry we didn't get your boat, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man, let's trick this whip, homie.
A 20-year-old or a 20-foot yacht with an 80-year-old. That doesn't really matter.
So yeah, here's this is Los Santos Customs. I was trying to look up who this dude is.
These are the
Who
things
is
that
in
we're
the
thinking about right now while we listen to this music.
in the credits. And first of all, he wasn't credited for the script like of the base game. I like how that dude says that line, by the way. How? See if you can drive as fast as you can talk. It's just I don't know. I fucked it up, but his delivery of it is funny. What was I saying? I was talking about, oh yeah, it was not the guy that I thought it was. He wasn't credited as a writer for the base game, but he's in the credits now because he's a writer, I guess like a head writer or whatever on the, on the game, I guess for, on multiplayer missions or whatever. And I thought, his name is Michael Unsworth, and I thought it was Jeffrey Unsworth, who is an Oscar-nominated screenwriter of the one movie I know that he wrote was the 80s adaptation of Tess of the D'Urbervilles, which I've never seen. Don't know why I know that. Don't ask me why. But it was not him. That's Jeffrey Unsworth, different dude. Because I was surprised, because I was like, this the 85-year-old man write this fucking game? But no, it's a completely other guy.
You saved my ass.
Nah, man. Well, maybe we good together, Like, maybe we can get shit done we couldn't do separate.
If it keeps him out of the house, that's cool by me.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Look, I'm sorry my dad lost you your job. It's hard out there. Tough. I mean, I'm employmentally challenged at the moment.
Oh, you got fired, dude. Damn, that's rough.
Not fired as such. I didn't get a job.
I've been there, homie. You've been putting them resumes out there, but no one's hiring, huh?
No, I didn't get a job. I've never had a job. It feels like hard work. Life, the days just kind of disappear. Hey, you play Righteous Slaughter?
Nah, not since the first couple.
Okay.
I like the way he says, okay. I guess this is something about the game, critically about the game that I was thinking about, which is, I like Jimmy. I think the Jimmy character is funny. But all the stuff about, millennials and hipsters in this game, first of all, I think are aging kind of poorly. not because they're like, you know, bad or offensive jokes or anything like that. I don't really even think anything in this game is particularly, you know, would be any big problem nowadays if it came any more than it was 10 years ago. But yeah, everything about like millennials and hipsters is just like really lame. And it just feels like Dan Houser, who's a Gen Xer, like venting his own personal grievances rather than being any kind of like actually funny or insightful satire about either of those kinds of people. And I mean, I think you could make that argument about the Grand Theft Auto series in general, is its satire is only really funny in the most surface level way. And I think, you know, by virtue of the source materials that these games draw their influences from, and I think in this game in particular, the performances of the three protagonists and the characterization of the three protagonists is good enough to distract from the fact that, for the most part, like, these stories are like very simple and don't always work so well as stories when taken, you know, in their entirety. And I'm not even talking about like ludonarrative dissonance stuff. I'm verging toward a point that I want to make that I'm gonna wait to make until we get to probably in the next episode, a mission in this game that's, I think, good for illustrating what I'm talking about. But yeah, it just feels like very much of that time, the attitudes about like culture in this game, and I'm interested but not really hopeful about GTA 6 and what that will be like. I know that Hauser has said that they're going to be not, you know, trying not to be as offensive. I don't know if to him that means like stop putting 69 on everything or whatever, or if he means like, yeah, fucking Tanya just got run from the fuck over. I love when NPCs do that in this game, when they're following you and then they get hit by a car and they're like, fucking wait for me. And I love how they have to walk up to the car and then initiate the action of entering the car. So it's like, they like run to the position near the car that they're going to, and then they have to reposition to the opening the car zone. It's silly. Anyway, I don't know. I feel like if this game had come out in 2016 instead of 2013, there would be like an SJW character. I don't know. I was saying, I feel like, you know, I know that at least one of the protagonists in GTA 6 is going to be a woman, which is like fine, but I feel like is very much part of a deliberate effort to kind of work past the series, the more problematic parts of the series that have garnered criticism outside of, I feel like the main thing that has dogged the GTA series in terms of criticism throughout its run has always been the violence, but I think there's nothing you can really do about that. The violence is literally the appeal of the game. It's the doing violence is like the whole point of the game, as it is with many. I think the other thing that this game gets a lot of flack for, and that this series gets a lot of flack for, is its female characters, which I have something to say about that, and I'll get to that in a sec. So I feel like that's mainly what they're going after, and, you know, maybe, I don't know if there were any, like, transphobic jokes or whatever in earlier GTA games. I'm sure there were, but I feel like that kind of stuff is stuff that they will now try to avoid bringing up entirely, or like try to take some explicitly positive stance on that, which I don't have any issue with that. I think the reason that I'm not hopeful about it is just I don't... nothing about Rockstar or about the gaming industry, like the AAA gaming industry writ large, gives me much hope that they can, like, strike the balance, I suppose. Just because a lot of like attempts to be progressive or politically minded in a lot of big games, I feel like are very mixed bag, to say the least. I don't know. I don't feel very positive about them going. I feel like they'll go in the other direction where you are being like cloying and patronizing. But I don't know. I mean, I can't... The game doesn't exist. Like, as... You know, this game is... GTA 6 is probably another 10 years away from coming out. So, how do they even, like... What's development like on that game in terms of, like, consoles and stuff? Because they... Is it gonna be a PS5 game? Because I feel like the PS5 has already been out for a few years, and you know, I mean, I feel like in the fuck the dog here. The tow truck is kind of a pain in the ass to turn around. So if you stop on a dime right before the thing like me, then it can be fucked up. Tanya's got like 5 of these boring ass missions. This is the first of the Strangers and Freaks, they are called, and I'll be doing not all of them, but just some of them, the ones that I think are fun. But I wanted to show this one off because I mean, their conversations give some good context for like Franklin's characterization, which I talked over, so that's of no use to you now. And also just because it's the first mission of that kind. And it is, unlike the vast majority of the Strangers and Freaks missions, it is needed for... You do need to complete those, the Pulling Favors missions, for 100% completion. Don't know why. Speaking of this game being criticized for its woman characters, here's 2 of them.
We ain't even gone 5 yards yet.
I know, I'm just asking.
This is spirit walking. Exercises body and soul. It's all the rage. We are women and we are free. Free in the end of patriarchy. We are women. Here are free. We are women. Here are shout and we are women.
Damn. F, is that your auntie?
Yeah, thank God I missed her crazy ass. She's spirit walking this shit now, man. That's just her attempts to...
Hey, don't be talking shit about your auntie, man. She cool as a motherfucker, man. Come on.
I love that. I love Lamar.
At the same time, my nigga.
Why the fuck we can't drive?
Around the block with Chop? You need to walk with your fat ass.
Yeah, okay, you tall, linky son of a bitch.
I was telling Walter this the other day. I kind of miss the like RPG elements from San Andreas. I kind of would like to see GTA 6 bring that back. Where like, you know, you have to maintain your body or whatever, and yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be cool. In general, I feel like I want something where I think the appeal of that part of San Andreas to me was that it made the open world elements of it and like the, you know, it made the open world feel more like part of the game, because like the things you would, at least in that respect, the things you would do in the open world would like have some effect on the gameplay. Not an insane amount, but I don't know. And it was also just like a fun part of it. I always liked that. I mean, stats are fun. I mean, everybody loves having numbers assigned to different qualities of their guy. Look at that, isn't that nice? I tell you what, sunsets in this game are really, really good. They really, I think the lighting and like texturing in this game is pretty good. Being that this game is 10 years old and I think it still holds up visually pretty well. I mean, I've talked about this before. I know that, like, just from an objective sort of standpoint, stuff from now is better in terms of, like, the fidelity of the rendering or whatever. But I've talked about this before. I don't think it's controversial to say that the magnitude, at least from a perception standpoint, if not a technical one, the magnitude of the leaps in noticeable graphical fidelity and quality between console generations seem to get smaller and smaller with each console generation. I mean, I think the gulf, visually, between the PS1 and PS2, or the PS2 and PS3, and maybe even the PS3 and PS4, but I don't think it's as much as the first two. I think all of those are way bigger than the difference in look to the average observer, naked eye, between the PS4 and PS5, and I'm sure the same will be the case for the PS5 and PS6. I don't know. I don't know if we've hit the point, the zenith of graphical, photorealism and verisimilitude. I don't know if we're there yet, but I feel like we are approaching, if not have approached, in movies and video games, about as close to photorealism as you could get. I mean, I honestly think we've been there just in terms of, like, raw capabilities. Now it's more widespread across industries where just, like, I feel like the floor of graphical quality of, like, computer graphics and stuff now is obviously higher than it was in the past. But I feel like we've had the ability to make stuff that is maybe not completely indistinguishable, but pretty comparable to photographs, at least of certain things, certainly of nature, of, like, water, particles, animals, stuff like that. I feel like we've been pretty good at that for a long time, and I think the challenge in rendering humans photorealistically that we still have, I really don't think it's a problem of, like, power, of, like, graphical power or whatever. I think I think there is, like, a psychological barrier in the human brain that, I feel like almost any computer-generated human face talking to you, I just feel like the effect in your brain of seeing a real human person in front of you is just so ingrained and so powerful that I feel like the average person would find a level of uncanniness in even the most sophisticated photorealistic rendering of a person. I think those imperfections, I don't know, maybe I'm underestimating the almighty computer gods, but I just feel like, I've seen some really impressive CGI faces in my time, and I've never not known that they were fake, not just because I know how movies are made, but just by looking at it. Like, if you just showed me a still image of it versus the person, I feel like I could tell you. It's the same thing with AI images, which is even more of a thing and, like, way more of a joke. But none of those have, like, I've seen all the time. Not so much anymore. It was in vogue a lot last year, but on, like, Twitter, there'll be things go around that were like, this AI video. I did an AI prompt in this thing to make like a trailer for a movie, and it looks, you could put this in a movie theater right now, and no one would know that it was made by a computer, and people's they have like 12 fingers and like their mouths are detaching from their faces and shit. Anything with people's hands or mouths or like eating food or anything seems to be pretty difficult. And I know that strides are being made in the AI space all the time, but I really am skeptical of it actually being able to like make something that is unmistakable from human-made work. But yeah, I'm glad. I haven't read the whole, if it's even out, I haven't read the whole like contract yet, but I'm glad that the WGA got their demands as it regards AI writers and everything. Actually very surprised that the AMPTP ceded ground on that issue at all. They seemed pretty, I mean, their initial terms were fucking ridiculous. They were, wanting to, anyone from the biggest star to an extra wanted to have like a database of their performance to use their digital likeness without their consent in any future media, and that was their starting offer. That was their starting position. So I'm very surprised that they worked back from that. I'm also surprised that the strike resolved that quickly. I was really expecting it to go into the next year because just neither side was really budging. The actors' strike is still going on, but yeah. I just noticed that, I haven't, up until, Mario World, I hadn't really made a proper video on here in like 9 months. So there's a bunch of stuff that's happened like this year that I never talked about. I was like, because I was thinking about the strike earlier, and I was like, oh yeah, I never, like when I was playing this game, and I was like, oh yeah, I never talked about the strike because I was, not making any videos when it started. That probably would have been something that I would have commented on right as it started up. Anyway, I have been completely ignoring this kind of funny mission of this game where you get to play with Chop. This is the only mission where Chop becomes relevant at all, I think. There might be one way late in the game that I'm forgetting. And you can, like, train Chop and everything. He eventually gives Chop to you. And I like Chop. He's a dog, He's cool. He looks cute. He's one of the only... They really did a lot more, like, animals in this game. I don't know if they've been non-existent in GTA up to this point, but they were pretty sparse. But now there's like deer and like jaguars and fucking fish, and sharks can kill you and stuff. It's pretty neat. What's really gonna be crazy is when they put children in a GTA game. I've been talking about that for a while, where it's like if they make one of these games where there's kids walking around and you can mow down some little kids, that will be fucking crazy. I don't know if they'll ever do that. I think that might be the one thing that they never do. I guess, and it's not without good reason. It's kind of fucked up. But I mean, it's ruining my immersion. There's no children in the... I mean, okay. I would understand not wanting to have child NPCs, and I get that if you do one thing, you gotta do all of it, but I get not doing that, not having the child pedestrians, but the fact there's never even like child characters or like children referenced. Like nobody has kids in GTA games. I guess they just write around it so that never happens. That everyone is either, if they have kids, they're old, so their kids are adults, or some happens to, they're a deadbeat, so they don't see their kids, or they're childless because X, Y, and Z. I mean, Jimmy and Tracy are children. I think this is the first, I don't know if this is the only GTA protagonist to have children that are like characters in the story. But they're adults. Yes? I would say that they're both probably grown adults. I mean, Jimmy's buying cars and shit, so it's a fun song. Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. Everybody knows that song. Anyway, this is just like the Franklin Variety Hour today. So last little teeny weeny mission is this one. This is the dude that was in LS Customs earlier, and it's a street race, and it's the only mission that's like this. I don't know why they just give you one race with this one guy, and then he fucks off and you never hear from him again, but you do. I mean, you hear from him again, I think, if you do other street races, but completely optional, as far as I'm aware. I don't know. There's a lot of arbitrary shit that's required for 100% completion.
Bronze medal then?
Funny motherfucker.
But yeah, I guess just like to wrap up my earlier point about like the millennials and hipster stuff, which we're gonna see more of. I don't know. It just feels like knowing that Sam and Dan Houser have used these games as like an outlet for their childhood like obsession with the anti-heroes of crime films that they loved growing up. Michael just feels like the most like self-insert character in the game for them to me. He's by no means portrayed entirely sympathetically, but you are, I feel like, definitely meant to identify with his persona of like wanting to escape back to the 80s and everything. Like I think you are meant to identify with and with his frustration with his kids. Like, you're supposed to think his wife and children are fucking annoying, and I would say that even though there are 3 protagonists, I feel like Michael is the protagonist of the game. He is the person that you play as first, and I feel like you really follow his like emotional journey. It's his decision that kicks off the plot of the game. A lot of everything involving like the FIB and IAA, which is gonna be later. But all that stuff that takes up such a huge chunk of like the middle third of this game is all as regards him. And Franklin and Trevor are relevant to this story only insofar as they relate to Michael. I also think just like more happens to Michael, like I'm spoilers for this 10-year-old game, but you know, his family leaving him and everything like that. I just feel like Michael is clearly the protagonist, and just to me, you know, Sam and Dan Houser, they're, you know, 40 something when they're writing this, and you know, they're probably living pretty good and feeling successful and whatever, but probably maybe a little empty inside. I see them in Michael the most, and so when Michael, there's especially a conversation later between Michael and Trevor about hipsters, and you know, the fact that I know that they're writing this script in like 2009 or 2010 or whatever, and they're just reacting to like you know, Tumblr people who got like the mustache tattoo on their finger or whatever. I don't know, it's just fucking, it's a little annoying even in its time, and then now 10 years later it's like, you know, it's like watching Last Man Standing with Tim Allen or whatever, where he talks about like, or the new Santa Clauses with Tim Allen, where he makes jokes about how like you can't say Merry Christmas anymore. It's such a blast from the past. Yeah, this guy tried to fuck with me. I don't know what his problem was. He was a racer. He crashed into me when I stopped and then got mad at me, and then I shot him to death. So it's fine. Anyway, that's it. Next time we're going to do more stuff with Michael and Franklin. See you then for that.